Ian, what do you make of the market reaction to what's playing out? Of course, the jobs picture in the United States is so critical to a recovery in the global economy. But if we're reading into how markets are digesting this, it's really failing to inspire anyone at this stage.
Absolutely, and you've got to try and look into it and say, well, after all, they're going to create 150,000 jobs. But in a robust sector cycle of the economy, they'd be creating 2 million new jobs a year. So put it into context, and they want to bring down unemployment if they can put this whole plan into effect from 9.1% to 8%. Hey, that's not that great, is it? The long-term average is around 5%. So you can't expect to have a huge impact on the economy just yet. It's going to take more time. This will be a small step in the right direction, and I think that is why the market's been somewhat neutral to this news from Mr. Obama.
And of course, key will whether it is passed in Congress, and that is the next issue, given all the issues that America had around the debt ceiling.
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of political wrangling in it. That's the US political situation. That's the way it goes. It doesn't matter if it's good, bad or indifferent for the economy. It's scoring points in the short term. And I think this could hold it up for a while. And there's a realization that is the way they play their game. And so that's why there hasn't been any significant reaction right now.
Let's take the conversation back to how this is all playing out in the local market, because of course we tend to really be a paper bag in the wind and just follow where markets globally go. But of course we also have our own economic story here, which isn't good. We had dire manufacturing numbers out yesterday. Second worst sector in the economy is not doing well.
No, not at all. Yes, as you say, the second biggest sector in the economy, down by 5% year on year, 6% month on month. Of course, a lot of that was due to the strikes and the shutdown of ArcelorMittal. But even so, I think that says that global demand is diminishing, the whole environment is less friendly, and then you look at mining down 5% on a year ago. Gee, that's significant. Two sectors there. Over 20% of South Africa's economy significantly going backwards, and I think what does that say for our possibility of creating new jobs? That's going to be a very tall order to create any at all. Even to maintain the present level of employment will be difficult.
It's no wonder that companies like Woolworths are then looking beyond our borders for expansion opportunities. Woolworths is stock trading up on the back of news that it's looking to grow its expansion or grow its presence in East Africa and Tanzania and Uganda, and looking to increase its stores in Africa by 16 stores in this current financial year. What do you take of this news?
I think that's a good move. It's a step in the right direction, and they just have to look at the sector leader, which I think quite clearly is ShopRite. They have done very well out of expanding into Africa, establishing strong bases there, diversifying out from a geographic point of view. And remember, the margins out in the rest of Africa are much wider than they are here. It's not quite as competitive, and I think that to move in that direction is the right way for them to go, rather later than not at all. So that's good.
And of course, we'll be speaking to Woolworths later in the show, so we'll get some more insight into the rationale behind that move. Some more news flow out from companies in South Africa today. Absa buying into an Islamic insurance firm, Takaful. What do you take of their move into the Islamic banking space and insurance space? Of course, we have a growing Muslim population in Africa, so obviously trying to position themselves in that space.
Yes, it's not just South Africa in this case. It's all about Absa, their partnership with Barclays, and their move into Africa. And Barclays had already established that Africa was a new growth center for them, and I think that it gives them a base in understanding a large part of the African population. So I think it's positive. It's not a big move in Absa's terms right now, but it has big potential in the longer term, and that's what counts.
Although we have all these concerns around what's taking place in the UK, yesterday the BOE coming out said they're not extending quantitative easing there, that fueling more recessionary fears. But Investec is still looking to consolidate its position there and buying into a firm, Evolution, that's a British investment firm. The stock is trading down today on both the local front and over in London, but of course that's just really tracking what we're seeing for financials broadly today.
Yes, and it's another one of these things where they say, buy the rumor, sell the news. It's been had been coming up a bit. Now the news is out. That's it. And I think Evolution and Williams de Bro, the British stockbroker, has got a very good high net asset worth individuals portfolio. So it's going to add to the outlets for Investix, already solid infrastructure there. And I think that they're increasing their sales potential without necessarily increasing a lot of their baseline costs. They've already said there will be a headcount reduction, so I think it's positive for them, strengthening their UK base over the longer term.
Let's just take the conversation then back to South Africa here and what's taking place in the retail front. We talked about Woolworths. That stock is trading up on the positive news about expansion into Africa. But on the other hand, we have Pick n Pay, which is taking a bit of a knock today, almost 2% in the red, 38 Rand 11 cents. Disappointed by the news around Metcash and Franklin's. It looks like it might not be able to sell its Australian firm to Metcash, and this is so badly needed by the company.
Absolutely. They need to free themselves of that worry. Franklin's, in the meantime, is getting plundered by the competition who see it as having presently weak management, so it needs to be taken over. And it would be a great shame if the deal with Metcash doesn't go ahead. But of course, there's nothing to do about it. The family said that they had taken into account that there may be some further extension of the case here. And I think that really that's going to weigh on Pick n Pay for some time ahead.